What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are all about breakfast. We're gonna make 4 of my favorite breakfasts. We're gonna start with some potato crusted egg bites, some tallow fried hash browns, and then we're gonna get into the sweet stuff with some Spelt French toast, as well as some protein banana pancakes. Let's get into it. We have some of these shredded potatoes. I love these because it's literally 1 ingredient, organic potatoes. Just check the ingredient list of what you find. We don't want to have many additives. Now, you can use a box grater, grab some russet potatoes and grate them up. What you want to do there is make sure you wring out that extra liquid with a kitchen towel because it's going to be a lot of water in there. But these are super convenient. Love this brand if you could find it, but if not, you can shred them yourself. So for the crust, what we're going to do is throw those potatoes in a bowl. We're going to throw some cheddar in there too. Up to you if you want to do the cheese or not. I think it's a great little addition. And we have some melted butter here and we're going to throw that in. That's going to help make everything stick. I'm just going to season it with some salt and pepper, and we're just going to brush a little bit of that melted butter on the muffin tin so it doesn't stick. That butter is also going to help that get a little crispy as well, the crust. All right, so we go in with our potatoes. All right, a little bit of our raw cheddar. You know, it's raw, it's gonna get cooked, but it's still just really good quality, regenerative, grass-fed. So I'm gonna use this. You can use any cheese you want. A nice Gruyere would be good here too. If you wanna keep the fat a little bit lower, I'd recommend just skipping the cheese here. All right, we're just gonna season it up with a little salt and pepper. You can throw other seasonings in here as well. You could add a little cayenne, a little smoked paprika if you wanna add a little extra flavor. Just gonna grab this brush. Gonna use a little bit of that melted butter, just a very light coating on each slot. All right, so we threw the butter in there, we have the cheese, we got the potatoes, and we have some salt and pepper, so it's gonna go in hand. It's gonna be a little bit greasy, but that's all right. And we're just gonna form that until it starts to stick. If it's not sticking, you can add a little bit more butter, or if it feels a little bit too moist, you can add a little bit more cheese, a little bit more potatoes. All right, so mine are not sticking, so I'm gonna add a little bit more butter. Also gonna help with the brownage of the potatoes, get a little crispy. Now it's starting to stick. Doesn't have to stick perfectly, but as you can see here, it is molding pretty well. So now we're good to throw it in there, because obviously as you cook it, it's gonna make it stick even more. So throw a little bit in here, and then we're just gonna make a little mold to fit the egg. So I'm just gonna press it down and press it into the sides, and this will allow the egg to fit in there. It's okay if it's coming up a little bit because as you cook it, it's gonna shrink a little, but just try to press it as best you can with your fingers. Do that each time. Maybe next time we'll do the French toast casserole. I don't know if you guys are worthy for that one yet. All right, so I threw it all in there. Got a little impatient. Now we're just gonna mold all these. It doesn't have to be perfect, but like I said, you just wanna make sure the egg is gonna fit in there nicely so the crust does kind of come around the egg too. You know, worst comes to worst, it's just the bottom layer, but. All right, so we made our little crusts. We're gonna bake this for about 20 minutes to get it nice and crispy. Obviously the potatoes are gonna take a lot longer to cook through and to get crispy than the eggs. So we're gonna start with this, get it a little bit crispy on the outside, about 20 minutes, and then we're gonna throw the eggs in. Keep in mind the egg cups are something you can absolutely customize to your own preference. You can skip the potatoes. I've done just an egg bite before. You can do any type of cheese. You can put some bacon in there, some ground beef, a million things you could do, any vegetables you want. So feel free to have fun with this. You could even do a few different of each. And again, if you're having company, this is a perfect little brunch you could do. All right, so we're just gonna make some very simple shredded hash browns. Really only 4 ingredients. The potatoes, we're gonna use beef tallow as our fat, of course. You could also use butter, you could use avocado oil, even cook up bacon and then use the fat for that. That could be really good. And then just some salt and pepper. You can add like garlic powder, paprika if you want, but we're gonna keep it nice and simple. All we're gonna do is melt the fat, put the potatoes down, press it, put the lid on, let that cook for 10 or so minutes. That's just gonna help it cook through. Some people put it in the microwave first just to start the cooking process. I rather avoid that, so we're just gonna put the lid on, then we're gonna flip it. I like using a nice ceramic pan because it's not gonna stick. Sometimes with the stainless steel or the cast iron, potatoes will stick and that's a pain. So we're gonna use ceramic and yeah, it'd be super simple. We'll get it going. I do have some bacon. I was thinking maybe I should cook that. We could make a nice looking plate with eggs, bacon. Yeah, it. All right, never mind. We are gonna cook some bacon instead of the tallow. There's some very good quality bacon in the fridge already, so we will use this. The key, if you wanna render out fat, is you put it on a cold pan. If If you put the meats like sausage, bacon on the cold pan, it will render out that fat, and then you can use that to cook with. If you put it straight onto a hot pan, it's not gonna render out as much fat. It still will work, but this is ideal. All right, so we're gonna cook some bacon, render out the fat, then we're gonna add the potatoes. For once, we're not gonna use the tallow. So the bacon's going. As you can see, we kept it to the cool pan, and that fat is starting to render out a little bit. And when the bacon is done, we are gonna drain it here. Pains me to see people put hot food on bleached paper towels as chlorine formaldehyde. So I always go with the unbleached paper towels, or you could just use a stainless steel wire rack. Look at all that fat that rendered out because we did it nice and slow on a cold pan. You can see the bacon starting to bubble, and that means it's just about to be done. Bacon done. And honestly, this is more fat than I need. So I'm gonna take a little bit out. And I'm just gonna use a paper towel just to take out some of the extra fat. But the bacon fat's gonna give it a very nice flavor. Get our fat there, it's nice and hot. We're gonna add our potatoes. Gonna throw the whole bag in there. So we really wanna press this down so it shapes into a nice hash brown. You don't want it to be falling apart. And this is why I like using the ceramic pan, because it's gonna come off very, very easily. A little salt and pepper. Could always add more at the end. Boom. All right, so we're gonna let that go for about 10 minutes. We'll check it every few minutes just to make sure it's all right. The electric stoves are a little unpredictable, but incredibly easy to do those. It's a great little treat on a weekend for the family. Nothing better than a crispy potato. How about potatoes, man? So many things you could do with them. Mashed potato, fries. All right, so the egg cups have been in for 20 minutes. I think they're ready. Ooh, I can smell that beef tallow. You know what? I'm gonna put them in for 5 more minutes. Just want them to be nice and crispy. The worst thing is an undercooked potato. When you get that bite, ugh. So these, we just wanna make sure we're not burning the bottom. It's gonna be tough to flip. It's gonna be a real test. I'm also just gonna chop some fresh chives, just the perfect complement to eggs. Looks like we're starting to see some crispy edges here. I'm gonna be patient though, patience. You could also chop up the bacon and put it onto the egg cups. Just an idea. All right, so we'll finish the egg cups, put them in, then finish the hash browns, then we'll fry up some eggs real quick. Then we'll make the French toast, then the banana pancakes. All right, now should be good. Potato cups, ain't no egg in here. I'm gonna bump the oven down to 375, and what I'm gonna do is use a spoon just to carve a little for the eggs. Ooh, I could see some of that melted cheese. I could smell that beef tallow. These are gonna be quite good. So obviously the potatoes will take a lot longer to cook than the eggs, and that's why we put them in. Get them a little crispy first, get that crust to form, then we throw the egg in. I think you could make like a really cheesy one too. It'd be really good, add more cheese. Just checking on these quick. Ooh, I can feel they're very crispy, so we may have to take a little intermission and take care of these. I'll take the easy way out. Now, it's soaked up all the fat, so we're gonna blow your minds. Half lard, or half bacon fat, half tallow on the other side. As if the bacon wasn't enough, now we need half bacon, half beef. Just a little bit, just to coat it. So even this is not an easy job. Oh yeah. Now I'm gonna leave the lid off because they've already kind of cooked through since we had the lid on for like 10, 15 minutes. So I'm gonna let that go. Now we're gonna crack the eggs. I have some beautiful soy corn-free eggs from Dutch Meadows Farms. And what we're gonna do is just crack one in each. Look at that perfect fit. Let's see if I can keep all 12 yolks intact.
You said they're soy-free.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Chris, why would you want eggs to be soy-free?
Because you don't want to be a soy boy. You know what they say about soy boys?
What do they say?
Can't say on camera. Now I'm a little worried about the eggs overflowing. If I were to go back, maybe put a little bit less potato, but we'll see, maybe it'll come out perfect. This is why we're doing this, so you can learn from my mistakes. A little more salt and pepper on each. All right, back into the oven, 375. Gonna keep an eye on it, maybe about 10 minutes. Ideally, I'd like to cook the whites and keep the yolks running. We'll see if I have the finesse. Maybe I should use 2 hands. Oh no, one yolk broke. Now we have our hash browns finishing up. So I'm just gonna fry a quick couple eggs. A lot of eggs today. And I know what you're thinking, oh my God, is he gonna use tallow for the eggs? No, we're gonna stick with butter. No, I broke the yolk. Not what I wanted. They both broke. I'm not gonna throw them out, but I'm gonna cook 2 more. All right, these ones don't count. I'm gonna try this again. This is eggs 15 and 16 so far on the day. Not that I've eaten, but. There we go. Cover it for 2 seconds. I cut this in half, this hash brown. Eggs are done, beautiful. Ah, hot. Little salt and pepper on the eggs. Fresh chives. All right, we're back. We had a little bit of an issue, leaked a little, whole apartment was smoking in the oven. That's just part of the process. The good news is the egg cups look great. We already did the hash browns, scarfed that down real quick when you weren't looking. And we're just gonna go ahead and plate these up, put some chives on them, and we'll be good. It looks like the yolks are a little more than I would have liked, but not worried about it. This is gonna be a nice looking plate. Look at that edge. I love the crispy edges. They're all bouncing off. We are back. We made our egg cups, we made our hash browns. Now it's time to get into the sweet stuff. I know it has a negative connotation, sweet, sugary breakfast, gonna put on fat. The only time I eat these types of breakfasts is if I'm going to work out in the morning. In the morning, I love having a sugary, more carb-dense breakfast with a little maple syrup because that's instant energy that I'm gonna be using at the gym at Muay Thai. Now, if you are overweight, you need to lose significant fat, I still wouldn't recommend having a breakfast like this. But for me, I'm trying to put on a little bit of weight, put on a little bit of muscle. Having those simple carbs right before a lift, right before a hard, intense session, it's gonna be immediate energy. And because I'm working out, I'm not gonna see that same glucose spike like I would if I were just to sit on the couch afterwards. So that's kind of my thought process there about when I'm choosing the breakfast. And to be honest, I get amazing workouts when I have something a little bit more carb dense in the morning. Another thing, you always want to have protein with it regardless. So if I'm gonna have French toast, for example, I'm always gonna have a couple eggs or some type of protein first. If I have the protein first, then I have the sugary carb meal, then I work out. Both of those things are gonna be very helpful for reducing that big glucose spike. And that's why when I do my blood work, my insulin is very, very low. So the 2 sweet ones we're gonna do, number 1 is a little sourdough French toast. This one's more so a treat. I'm not gonna eat this all the time, maybe once or twice a week, always before activity. This one's all about the ingredients. Good quality bread. I have some Spelt sourdough. It's very light, very easy to digest compared to just normal white bread or brioche or something. And then I'm just gonna use some A2 milk, some eggs, cinnamon, vanilla, very, very simple. The other is a protein pancake. I love doing this one, so easy, quick, and this is really my go-to breakfast before a hard lift, which is about 3 or 4 days a week. All we're gonna do, in a blender, throw a banana, a couple eggs, grass-fed whey protein, a little cinnamon, vanilla, fry it up like a pancake. Incredibly easy, takes minutes to cook, and very good pre-workout fuel. I love this too because that whey protein digests very quickly and you're breaking down those amino acids while you're lifting. So let's do it. So we have our ingredients, 1 banana, and make sure the banana is nice and ripe. 2 eggs, and then I'm using this Pro Mix 100% grass-fed whey protein. First time I've ever tried this one, but it's good, neutral flavor, no added ingredients. Perfectly happy with this one. And then just for flavor, gonna add some cinnamon, some vanilla paste. Optional, you can literally just go with these 3 ingredients, but I love cinnamon and vanilla, so I'm gonna incorporate those. And that's it. All I'm gonna do is throw it all in a blender, blend it, and cook it up. This is a little delicate to flip. If you have like a bigger griddle, you could do a few small ones. They'll be easy to flip. I'm just gonna make one big one on a ceramic pan. It's non-stick, but still a little bit dicey, so we're gonna do our best to flip it cleanly. Cleanly, is that a word? I will say I do get a little frustrated sometimes when I try to flip it. These electric stoves are a little unpredictable as well. So we're gonna go for it, see what happens. You could use coconut oil, you could use butter, you could use ghee. They do make a vanilla ghee, which would be pretty cool. I've never tried that one, but could do that. We're just gonna fry it up in butter. Our butter is melted. We're just gonna go throw it on there. Should hear a little bit of a sizzle. If you add it before it is hot, it's gonna stick very badly. So you want at least a little bit of a sizzle. As you can see, it's sliding pretty good, which means it's probably almost ready. These are a little bit tough to flip, but we're gonna do our best here. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah. A little burn on the bottom, but that's okay. Look at that, perfect pancake. last but not least, a little French toast. One of my all-time favorite foods. This is really a treat, but we're gonna use super clean ingredients. All it is, little A2 milk, egg, some Spelt sourdough, super high quality bread, little cinnamon, vanilla, and nutmeg. This is a little bit of lighter, healthier French toast. I also have a crazy decadent recipe. Some of you may have tried it already. This one is a lot lighter though in the stomach. It's not gonna weigh you down like something like a brioche or white bread, something like that. But all we're gonna do is make that little custard, mix everything together, soak the bread for a minute, fry it up, and we'll get into it. So just one egg, and this is just for 2 slices of bread, so you can just scale up as needed. I'm keeping it a little bit lighter with just milk. You could also use cream, half and half. All right, so we got the egg, just a splash of milk. Don't have to measure anything. And also keep in mind, this is just a French toast recipe. You always wanna have some protein with it. Very rarely are there times where you wanna have the carbs just by themselves like this. A little vanilla paste. You could also just use regular vanilla extract. It'll probably be 1/4 of the price. Just some cinnamon, I like a lot. Put as much or as little as you want. It's all I got left. Nutmeg, it's optional. I think it's a very nice addition. It makes it a little bit bright. You can skip it if you want. You could also use fresh. Then just a tiny pinch of salt. Just gonna whisk that up. The key here really is just getting the good quality bread. Obviously the other ingredients are pretty solid. The hardest part is just to get good sourdough. Brioche is delicious. It's just so sweet already. So adding all this stuff, it's like really sweet. Tastes great, but you're not gonna feel great after that. This, nice and light, feel good. And keep in mind too, it's all about context. If you struggle with insulin, if your insulin's super high, you need to lose a ton of weight, probably not the best thing to make. But you know, if you're very active, you don't need to lose weight, or you wanna put on muscle, have a great workout, you can enjoy something like this and feel fine. That's good. Got our pan heating up over here. And the bread, you can let it dry out for a couple hours if you want, not totally necessary. I'm gonna fry it up in butter. I think that's the only acceptable, besides ghee maybe, you could fry it in. All right, I'm just gonna throw a slice in there. I'm gonna let it soak on each side for like 30 seconds. You could probably get 3 or 4 pieces out of this actually. I would say at least 3. So we got those frying up, and I will say French toast is one of my all-time favorite foods. I used to make my mom make me French toast every single morning for school. And I remember she was trying to be a little bit healthier, so she started making it with whole wheat bread, and I got it and I was like, what the hell is this? Whole wheat bread? This is shameful. And it was all right, but I'll take the sourdough. There it is, easy, easy. I was saying, imagine going to the gym, like you're at the bench, and it's just like, oh man, tough workout today. Just a little drizzle, you know? All right guys, thanks for watching. Hope you guys got some value from this and have some great breakfast ideas. A lot of talk out there whether or not breakfast is actually the most important meal of the day. A lot of intermittent fasting people skip breakfast. Personally, and from working with hundreds of clients on weight loss, I think eating a high protein breakfast is one of the most important things you can do. Regulates your hunger throughout the day, keeps you full, regulates your blood sugar, and especially, like I said, if we're having a sweeter breakfast, we time that properly after protein, before a hard workout. So that's how I can enjoy these kinds of things and stay in great shape. But if you guys got value from this, like, subscribe, and we'll see you guys soon.